You've got questions, we've got answers. Today is all about answering your questions about the Bible, Mosaic Law, personal accountability, family evangelism, and arm wrestling. Join us as we talk about it.
Welcome to the Morning Manna Podcast. You're invited to the table for real conversations about faith, culture, and the everyday pursuit of loving God, loving each other, and loving the world around us.
Welcome back to another episode of the Morning Manna Podcast. My name is Bryson, and today I am joined by lead pastor Christopher Francis Fletcher. Yeah,
sure.
Yep. And then Pastor Nicholas Dimitri Ertel.
Ooh, Dimitri.
Yeah.
I don't mind that, actually.
And then
that's not true, but that's not my name.
And then Pastor Jeffrey Alexander Christensen.
No, it's even better than that.
Sounds weak.
The Conqueror.
Sure.
Yeah, well, then there was you.
Yeah. Do you guys know what my middle name is?
Works.
Theodore. Bryson Teddy Hopkins. You look like a Teddy Hopkins.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I actually think I'd
I'm
be
going
okay with
I'm
that.
going to hit around a golf with Teddy Hopkins. Like that
Well,
kind
it
of
could
just
go either way.
feels good.
Actually, that sounds really, it's got something on it.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually
A little
I'd
bit
be fine with
important.
that.
Ooh, with Teddy, really?
Yeah. I'm borderline prophetic.
My middle name is Lee because my dad wanted to name me
that's much less impressive.
Brandon Lee after Bruce Lee's son.
Oh, my.
My mom was like, no. I was like, you
So
could just name
you're part crow, is that what you're saying?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Vague.
Yeah.
Wow.
Vague early mid-90s reference.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, anyway, today we have a very special episode. We asked for you to put in your comments, your questions, and we were going to devote an entire episode to answering those questions. We call it our Manna Mailbag AMA, or Ask Me
That's good.
Anything. So I figured since today
Yeah.
is our AMA episode, let's actually do our icebreaker with some AMA questions. They're just a
Wow.
little bit more lighthearted. So you guys ready to jump into
All right,
this
let's
thing?
do it.
Sure.
Would you describe the meat and potatoes as heavy-hearted?
There you go.
It's interesting you would call
Maybe
yeah.
there's some that are, there's
right.
some good ones.
So
have
we got a stew going for meat and potato time.
Yeah, but let's
All
start
right.
with the ones that are a little bit more fun.
Let's
So
get the light ones out of the way.
we have Shayna, the homeschool mom, who says, "What is the most useless piece of information or fun fact that you know?"
The most
That's
useless.
fantastic.
That's pretty good.
That is good. Yeah.
I love these things.
Go ahead and start, Chris.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I don't have useless facts. Every
Oh,
one of
yes,
my
you
facts
do.
are useful.
That is a lie.
I'm crouching. I'm waiting. Just ready to pounce.
I've got one. While you're thinking, I've got one.
Yeah, because that's really what's happening.
don't think.
Yeah.
You come prepared.
That's
very
right.
clear.
I feel like we've established that by now.
Okay, very good. Okay, so here's one. All right, the one of the largest numbers that have been real numbers, not theoretical math, but real numbers that have been named. It's called a Google, not to be confused with like the search engine.
Yeah, we got it.
It's GOOGOL, Google, and it's a 1 with 100 zeros behind it. Now get this: this number is so big that there's not a Google of anything in the known universe. If you added up all of the atoms and particles in the known universe, it still falls crazy short.
I think there is a Google of Elon Musk haters, though.
Wow. Okay.
He's got
Sorry.
you.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to stump you.
that
good
was
timing.
incredibly useless.
I've got one more useless thing to build on.
That's good.
If you take 10 to the power of a Google, that's called a Googleplex. You're welcome.
Someone needs to take ChatGPT away from him. You should be banned.
Yes.
It's pretty incredible.
Man.
Jeff,
I'd like to let Chris go.
I don't know. I don't know. Useless piece of information. I don't know. I've got all sorts of useless facts floating around.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great
then
episode.
name one.
Uh,
If you have so many, just name one of them.
I nothing comes to mind. Every time I think of something useless, I think of how useful it is.
No, stop.
I have one.
I don't.
that's
I literally don't have one.
unfortunately way too on brand. Actually, last time that I was on the podcast, I had talked about old hobby of mine was to restore axes, and unfortunately, my useless knowledge is also kind of surrounding this as well. If I did not have a chainsaw, I know the proper way to fell a tree with an old saw and an axe as well.
Old Teddy
I
over
wouldn't,
here.
I wouldn't
Like-
call that useless.
Yeah.
Well, right.
That's
like,
what I mean. Like
the
I
thing
keep
is,
thinking,
it's like the big like double bit saws that you would do. I don't
Yeah,
have
like
one
a
of
double
those.
person saw.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be a double person. You can do it. It's the same type of saw, but it would be operated by a single person, but enough to where you could fell it in a specific
okay,
location.
well, so
It's
this
pretty
is this is useless then. But I once taught myself how to re-ice the soles of shoes. So you have shoes that have like the clear icy bottom, like you'll get different Jordans and sneakers or whatever.
Icy bottom?
Really?
What do you mean
I-
by icy bottom?
Have you ever seen a Concord 11 sneaker?
I have no idea what you're talking
So
about.
there's sneakers that have
I
like
wear
the
Vans.
clear plastic. Yeah, well, okay.
All the things
Nope,
you want to say.
I'm not going
you
to take.
cannot
I'm not
say.
going to take any of that bait.
Yeah.
There are clear soles on the bottoms of shoes.
So
and
cool.
I taught myself to see what I mean. That's why I'm not going to. I'm not going to use it.
I think that's very fascinating.
It was
But
fascinating.
completely useless.
You know how to resole a Nike Jordan.
Yeah, I can re-ice sneakers. Yes.
Re-ice it.
Re-ice,
Why is it called
re-ice the sole.
re-icing it?
Because the soles look icy when they're like the clear icy blue.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, man, again, all the things. Jeff, let's hear it. Surely.
Completely useless bit of information or fun fact.
Yeah.
Jeff
Nick
got
Ertel-
up this morning.
Nick Ertel started going bald at the age of 17.
That's why you text me today.
It's useless, but it sure is fun.
So he texted me earlier today.
Wow.
He just randomly texted me. He said, "Hey, when did they shave your head that one time when you had long hair and then we realized like you were starting to go bald?" I said 17. Why?
Wow.
You never answered.
I did not.
Now I know
Man.
why.
Left him on red.
I'll tell you what. I think that fits the bill.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well done.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear. The next one is from Twyla Vega, which I think is Twyla Vega. I'm just using
That
context
name does
clues.
sound oddly familiar.
Her Manna Mailbag question is: who would win in an arm wrestling, Nick or Bryson? Now, we did actually test this,
Oh, wow.
Let's
so I
do
want
it
to
right
hear.
now.
No, we're not going to do it right
So
now.
we
I
did
would
it
like
yesterday.
Like,
2
We
days
did.
ago.
He kept texting me over and over and over. He's like, "We should do this."
Am I the only one who
Okay,
doesn't spend my
texting is-
entire week getting ready for this podcast? It sounds like all you guys do is he's
whoa,
writing all his
dude,
stuff down. You guys are arm
curb your
wrestling ahead
energy
of time.
right now. Like, what in the
You
world?
told us to start this podcast.
Whoa,
You're
this
a little
is-
aggressive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
Settle
asking
down.
questions here.
We're trying to have a fun episode.
I spent about an hour and a half. So you
So
can just
literally your entire work
back
week.
up.
So
Oh my God. Okay, I walked into that. I'll give you that.
All
Okay.
right. So I'm curious, but who do you guys think won
Jeff's the
that?
creative type. You know, he needs
Yeah.
he needs an
Yeah.
hour in the field before
That's
he,
right. Absolutely.
He has an hour
to sit down.
I'm going to need some brain space.
Yeah. Hour and a
Yeah.
half, and then the rest is free play.
Sure. If you
Yeah.
if you look out the window on occasion, you'll find him on the railroad tracks just taking a brain break. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
sort of sitting there
He's
letting
contemplating, yes.
just letting
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Like
my
a fine
favorite
pace.
place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He grew up in Nebraska, a child of the corn sort of situation going
Yeah,
on.
100%.
Therefore, train tracks. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
One
who,
thing led to another.
so we did test it. Who do you guys actually
take
think?
Jeff home.
He does not care.
Sorry, I'm here.
Who do you think actually won the arm wrestling? I'm curious.
You.
Like, sure.
Yeah. I would
You.
say you.
Yeah, you.
Not because, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Nick has useless
Nick's
strength.
muscles are the best, but you've got.
Wow.
Well, it's come
He
on.
shaves his arms, thereby
Nacho Libre.
thereby ensuring that the glisten and the gleam is
But
appropriate.
that's right.
off of
There
him.
we go.
Yeah, yeah.
But the length of your arm, like I'm just thinking, you've got
Yeah.
more torque just by
I was going to
nature.
say, Bryson
Just
is a
by
large
nature.
human
That's
being.
Yeah.
right.
He's got leverage because
that's
like
what I
his
mean.
his literally
Yeah,
from his wrist
right.
to his elbow, that
Absolutely.
bone is long.
Correct.
See, now that you're saying that, that feels a little double-sided. So the truth is, Nick actually won the arm wrestling, which he should have. Yeah, he should have.
Well, the amount of time he spends
Did he use
in the
two
gym.
hands?
Huh?
Did he use two hands?
He did not.
He
Although
grabbed with both hands, put his knees up on the seat, and was like,
although his bald head was noticeably red after he was
I
done.
don't doubt
I mean,
it.
it was all
Well,
of
I had
that.
to channel my powers.
Yeah, that was yeah, it was weird. He was snorting pre-workout beforehand, but other than that, I mean, he did.
Some of the
no, yeah, he
smelling
did-
salts.
Another useless fact: Nick makes Street Fighter 4 sounds in the gym. yeah, yeah.
That's good.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, yeah. So Twyla, to answer your question, Nick, he won.
Wow.
yeah, it's devastating. We'll
Chris
be
and I
doing
are
a rematch.
both surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, which
shocked.
actually, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Stunned.
All right.
You didn't hear. I'm disappointed too.
Yes.
Okay, well,
I feel let down.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, they're not surprised by
not
me.
mad.
They're just let down by you.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, that makes me feel much better about this next question. Officially, Jeffrey Christensen commented, "Hello, my name is Jeffrey. I am a silver fox, but have recently grown tired of my crown of splendor. I need help picking some hair dye. Nick, if you had hair, what color would you dye it?" Yeah.
Wait, this is from who is this?
Officially, Jeffrey Christensen.
If you look at the profile picture, that is 100% the clueless 12-year-old
That is actually
photo
my picture.
in the
I was
history of the
12.
world.
Yeah.
But for
That
the
is a
record,
fact.
There's
Yeah, yeah.
nothing going
this
on
you?
in that
This
brain.
is not my account at all. No. I have a suspicion
Yeah.
as to who started
know who this
account.
is?
I actually think he's standing in the other room right now. But Yeah.
It does.
That's my.
It does smack of Sam.
It does indeed.
Yeah.
Samuel Fletcher?
Yes.
You're calling him
it
out?
smacks of Sam.
Yeah.
Do you know it's him?
No,
or-
I don't.
Oh, okay.
Not for a fact. I suspect.
Okay.
I feel like
I
that's a fair
suspect.
guess.
Are we answering this or no? Is this-
What color would you dye your hair if you had hair?
Oh, wait, read it again.
Okay, I'm a silver fox, but have recently grown tired of my crown of splendor. I need help picking. I need some help picking hair dye. Nick, if you had hair, what color would you dye it?
I love how they go to me.
It's going to guarantee it's Sam.
Yeah.
If,
well done.
if next week whoever this commenter is really doubles down. Like
That's so good.
if
There
this
Look how proud.
Oh, he just walked up.
Yeah.
judging by the look on his face, I do cast my vote in like young
Indeed.
Samuel's camp. Okay.
Yeah.
He says, my name's not Jeffrey.
All right. So
Pure
actually,
evidence.
in all seriousness, all jokes aside, answer the question, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, what color? I don't know. Black. There you go. Because it's the color of your soul.
So
Harsh but fair.
You would dye your hair based off of Jeff.
Well, no, for him.
No,
You know what would be magical about that is his already pasty whiteness. If he dyed his hair jet black, we'd be full on crow.
Especially if it went across one of his eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like very My Chemical Romance. Yeah, sure.
Tonight's the night that I will
what.
fall
All
for
right.
you.
All right. Enough of this nonsense.
I once
Gross.
saw My Chem open for Muse, and I will tell you
Are they good?
They are better. It is a decent live experience. Yeah,
There you go.
I bought the ticket for Muse.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
They're,
a great. They're a great rock
I'd
band.
throw in that disclaimer as well.
Yeah, but it was I was entertained. If I was there to be entertained, it was no great spiritual experience. I didn't learn anything. It was a useless fact. But I was.
There you go.
If I was to be diverted for an hour, just like this is fine. They were good.
Indeed.
Wow, more useless information. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of this episode. So we have some serious questions, and I categorize them by different things. So the first section is personal.
So, caveat here. So for this serious response, do we have to be like heavy-handed and dull? Was that like
No.
we had the lighthearted and now we've got
Unfortunately, it's what we expect of you. But
I don't think that's the energy anybody thinks I'm going to bring to this next section. but-
wow.
If there's anyone who's going to
These are just deeper questions.
They're
That's what you're
deeper
saying.
questions. They're more serious questions. There's
All right,
one.
good.
Yeah. So this is from Shell Potterhoff. How do you say her last name? Do you guys know for sure?
I believe, Michelle and Sean, forgive me if I am doing this incorrectly, but I believe it would be just pronounced Podorf.
That's how Sean pronounces
Yeah.
it. But
Okay,
then again,
that feels-
Then again, maybe Sean's got it
Sean's wrong.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
well, I liked her question. She said, "Was there a specific experience or season that shaped your theological perspective?"
Fantastic question.
One that you should give a fantastic answer to, Jeff.
Are you ready there?
We're looking at the theologian.
We're looking at the
Yeah.
theologian with the notes and the
I don't
pre-selected.
need notes for this one.
That's good.
When I was 7 years old.
Well, that's actually about to happen.
Back when I was shucking corn. For grandmama.
I grew up in the Lutheran church and got saved as a teenager, listening to Christian heavy metal music.
Roll Tide.
And then at the age of 18, I came into the charismatic movement, kind of got involved in neo-Pentecostal stuff. It got a little weird for a minute. But there was some theological baggage that came along with that too. Kind of the people I was running with in the neo-Pentecostal thing. There was a lot of legalism. And I carried a sense for a number of years of just like feeling like God must be disappointed with me. And Chris is over there convinced that he probably is somewhere.
I'm like,
Anyways.
oh no, that's so bad. And Chris is like, well, he's right.
So
I said nothing.
I remember a few years just kind of like, when is God going to finally just give up on me? Like he has to at some point. And it was being here at Manna under Michael Fletcher, that the influence of Reformed theology just began to fix that. The Holy Spirit, through Reformed theology, justification by faith, the idea that I am chosen by God's great pleasure based on no foreseen merit within me, quoting Louis Berkhoff right there. That idea was the lifeline that I needed.
Yeah.
And that changed everything. And so it was easy to embrace Reformed theology because it was like, I mean, it was
a weight lifted off
oh
your
my
shoulders.
gosh, man. Yeah.
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 100%.
Somehow I knew you were going to quote Louis Berkhoff.
Well, yeah,
in
that's
your
pretty
personal
on the
story.
nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, because I've mentioned in messages before simple statements, but then said, so obviously I grew up Reformed. And I had somebody come at me one time like, Michael would never be a Calvin. And I was like,
Specifically, they said a Calvin. He would
yes.
never be
He'd
a
never
Calvin.
be a Calvin.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Not Calvinist.
my
said a
first
Calvin.
dog at the age of 5 was named Berkhoff.
Nice. And your dog
love
currently is named?
Is Calvin. That's a fact.
That is that was the name of my first dog was
Yeah.
Berkhoff. So like I mean,
I need a dog named Grudem now so that we can all
Go for it.
So
Or would be
since-
great.
you
since
name him
you-
Wayne. Then no one would know.
Chris, since you like grew up, Michael's your dad.
Yeah.
So like, I'm curious how you'd answer this question, because it's kind of like, since you were kind of born into that, like part of my theological perspective is shaped by Pastor Michael.
All of my theological perspective is shaped
Yeah,
by him.
no
I think
doubt.
that the season, it's a different response to a similar kind of vibe of the question, but I would say the season I'm in right now is going back to the foundation that he laid. And now as I walk with my mom caring for him in dementia, it's relying on the theological foundation he placed on the inside of me that lets me take the weight
That's good.
and recognize it's not mine to carry, it's his. I serve a sovereign, big God who is in control, who orders my steps, who through nothing that I bring to the table, through no punishment, I am without him damnable and punishable in entirety.
Yeah.
And now surrendered to him, it's not that I'm perfect. It's that the way that God looks at me, my dad does not have dementia because I did something to accidentally tip the scales the wrong way that made him go, all right, I'm going to punish this, and it's going to, I'm going to take it out on you. It is a sovereign, in control, the God of Romans 1 through 16.
Yeah.
This is the season. I always used to teach people that I want to help people understand theology because I want to take some of the weight that they carry in the backpack. I want to take it out because they're trying to shoulder burdens that aren't theirs to carry. And this, for me, this is the season where that's come alive.
That's awesome.
Because I can't carry the weight.
Yeah.
I can't carry the weight of figuring out why.
Yeah.
We did mention, like a couple of episodes ago, how you respond in times of pain, suffering, and tragedy reveals your theology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you've built your theology on a solid foundation, man,
I would
you're
add,
able to walk
I would
through
add to that. Pain and suffering and morality dictate theology.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of a circular thing as well, because if you have the theology there in the first place, then you can walk through the pain.
And that's what I'm pointing
and
out.
all of that correctly. But you're right. If you don't have that foundation, your screw ups and all of that is going to end up. You're going to find justifications.
You're going to try to
in your
justify and
theology.
fit.
Oh, yeah,
you're going to
yeah.
try to justify and fit whatever your morality, whatever
You
you're
will.
saying yes to that you shouldn't say yes to.
Right.
You will try to fit that into your theology, which then will turn into, well, that's not the God I serve. Yeah,
Right.
well, that's because you're trying to.
Yeah.
Well, your dad, I had the pleasure of sitting under Pastor Michael for my theology class, and I remember him saying, oftentimes people...
Do explain to me what he said.
Yeah.
Help me understand it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, for the people at home who will listen,
Wow.
no.
I deserve that.
He would say, that, for a lot of people, their morality dictates their theology.
Yes,
That's why I
but
said
that's what he
backwards.
just said.
Their theology should dictate their morality.
Right.
So if
Yes.
you are able to set that solid foundation of theology, starting with who is God, and studying who He is and who we are, our identity, man, you're able to, that moral compass
But
is...
that's where the issue begins, that you're not really submitted to Jesus. So the theology can't penetrate a heart that's not submitted.
Right.
Yeah.
And people get tripped up by this because they ask, well, where does nuance come in? And the challenge there is if we tell people you're created on purpose for a purpose. God made one of you and threw the mold away. So a God that would create unique individual expressions of His own glory to fellowship with Him forever obviously had nuance as part of the plan. Otherwise, He would not have created so many nuanced individuals. He's the one that shaped and formed us. So it's not that nuance is not involved. It's that we as humans get it out of order. And we lead with nuance and then try to fit it into theology.
Yes.
Theology comes first. Nuance comes later.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
It is
Agreed.
it is a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So because even when me and you talked about this question a little bit, you had talked about like, okay, even just your time at Manna U, which was GCD at the time when you were going through it, was like that shaped it a lot. The learning of theology, of course, that shapes it. Yeah. I had my experience going through Manna U in my freshman and sophomore year. I was going through a period of some of the worst suffering in my entire life while also learning foundational theological stuff. So it was like this anchor. Of course, you remember this time as well. So it was like, it was interesting how that was so in line. So it was able to be like, all right, this is what I believe about God. And it's proven in the midst of this suffering, and being able to like walk that line to say it's all just head knowledge. It's not, because it's really just watching God's attributes, him revealing himself in the midst of some really crazy circumstances, being like, that's what shapes it, not just this head knowledge or like, okay, I'm cool with that theory, but rather like I've seen, experienced, and felt this and believe that. You know, there's
it's good. I think theology can get a bad rep sometimes because people assume that it's just the head knowledge.
Yeah,
they assume that it's just academic, but theology properly applied actually changes your entire outlook on life. Yeah, changes how you view not only God but yourself and your mission and your purpose for your being.
Yeah.
So it's theology is like the shelf on which my suffering and my pain and my triumphs and my valleys and there's a place to organize them around an understanding of Scripture. Now,
that's good.
I should clearly state that there is no human approach. So theology is a human approach to understanding God. It's never going to be perfect this side of heaven.
Right.
So anybody that tells you my theology is perfect is a liar. And there are strengths and weaknesses to certain approaches and systems.
Every system.
I will readily tell you that my theological approach to understanding Scripture and God is part cultural, part upbringing, and part so I can lay my head on the pillow at night and go to sleep. So I recognize that I think I have picked the least flawed system that helps me understand how God put me on the planet and what He called me to do and who He called me to be. But there's in no way perfect, and I really think I love the people. I love the humans. But some of us have been doing this for years and years and years. And what you find is actually not wide degrees of variance. You find really narrow degrees of variance around really foundational things that lead to conclusions out here.
Yeah.
Most people want to start with the conclusions out here and ignore the very... It's right in the midst of... Really, at the end of the day, don't freak out. There are certain things that are so close together, I could get the other side of heaven with the Lord and find out, you were a little bit off on that, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Totally. I'm good.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
And it's the reason why we can utilize, read, adore scholars who we disagree with on certain points.
100%.
Certain doctrines.
And
but the dogmas are all the same.
Right, because ultimately the differences are in they're nuanced differences on core foundational issues.
Yeah. There are very big issues that N.T. Wright's going to get right up to, he's going to step back from, and I'm going to keep driving. I've sat with him at Oxford, and 8 other people sat at his right hand and talked with him for a day. I studied at Oxford with him for a period of time, and I am completely taken. The thing that gets me more than any other thing with him is not all of his knowledge and ability for me to try. I'm the little imp trying to figure out how to get in the weeds and make the great theologian think twice about what he's thinking. My dad actually told me before I went, don't do that. Like he's well versed to be able to take you apart. What arrested me deeply, he opens his Greek New Testament, he reads in the original language, and he tears up as he gets close to the mysteries of the goodness of God.
Yeah.
He is arrested by Jesus come to save us from our sins. And at the end of the day, I don't agree with him on all points of theology.
Right. Sure.
I don't care.
And that's okay.
Because I want to sit with him and talk about those points of theology because I want to understand the God that makes him and me tear up the same way.
Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. I think, I think
we
we're going to run into
going
this.
on that one.
Yeah, that's going to be the only question for the day.
Right. We could spend
Speaking of that,
episodes
if you're watching this right now and you come across some of these questions and you like some of the content that's being talked about here and you want to hear more about it, great news is you can post more questions and we will talk more about them. So even on this video now, you can comment down below and then I'll usually select a question to cover each episode. Going forward when we do our future episodes, I'll pick one and then we'll cover it. So if there's a topic that's really sticking out to you, you can go and comment on this video and then we'll maybe look at it for a future Manna Mailbag segment. So let's go ahead and move on here, still in this personal section. This is from Michael C. Graves. He said, how do you maintain
Michael Graves.
personal integrity and accountability in your life and ministry?
It's a great question.
It is a great question. My immediate stab at that is I don't view my life as like separate buckets and compartments. I view them as layers within the same spot. So it would be hard for me to take apart personal ministry. I don't view my life as separate compartments that all don't have a hand in each other. I'm not a workaholic, meaning I'm not a guy who thinks that my work adds to the finished work of Jesus. But I don't view anything I do outside the context of ministry. I'm not juking you in that. I really do believe in. It's one of the core messages my dad preached. I am an agent of the kingdom of God wherever I go. Therefore, I am the pastor of Manna Church in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, whether I'm playing soccer, whether I'm driving to Target, whether I'm anywhere, everywhere. Yeah. And so I live the mission and the values of what God's placed me to do and to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So in terms of personal or whatever integrity, I'm the pastor of Manna Church while I'm watching television alone. I'm the pastor of Manna Church when I'm playing soccer and I'm too competitive, and I'm all those things.
I was just thinking. I mean, the idea of these aren't separate buckets. It's all holistic, right? But we also have some guardrails set in place to guard ourselves from getting too close to the edge.
I wasn't answering the whole question. I was answering the part about how do you do it with ministry and life, and I'm saying
that's a great distinction.
Yeah, okay. Blend them up.
It's all the same thing. We're not going to separate that.
Right.
But just on a practical note, I mean, there are things that all of us do to guard ourselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the idea is that hiddenness gives sin power.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do I live above reproach? How do I live blamelessly in all that I say and do? How do I do things so that I'm not living in hiddenness, or I'm not giving opportunity to live in hiddenness?
Yeah.
So I was talking with a couple about this yesterday, and I was just explaining some of the things I've set up in my life. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to go out, and I'm not going to hold this over everyone as if, well, you're a sinner if you don't do this. But these are some things that I've done in order to set up those guardrails. For example, like there's software on my phone and my computer and all of my devices that if I go to any websites they're going to be flagged, guess who it goes to? This guy right here. He does.
He does.
But also, I mean, like my wife and I, we have a shared bank account. If I spend money on anything, guess who's going to see it?
Yeah.
I have willingly, she didn't force me to do this. I wanted to do this. I willingly shared my location with her on my phone so she can see where I'm at any given part of the day.
Right.
She has my passwords to my phone, to any account that I have.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
I'm trying to eliminate the opportunity for hiddenness.
For an additional $9.99, I added to my phone that for international as well. So when I'm internationally, she can see down to the actual physical location. So if she went on a map. She went on a map.
Thing.
It is a thing. She went on a map. She could know wherever I am. There's
cool.
no place.
I love it.
No place that I go that my wife does not know.
Yeah.
Same here. And I don't travel nearly as much as you do, but when I'm international, I was in Rwanda and my wife was texting me going, "What's the name of the gas station next to you?"
Yep.
Because
That's awesome.
Like absolutely.
Technology is the worst, but technology, when used appropriately as a tool, is a really, really helpful.
100%.
Yeah.
I cage myself in where I could get to stuff if I wanted to, but I'd have to make a decision, and then I'd have to climb over a gate, and then I would have to answer questions.
Yes,
because
and explain
it's
yourself.
not hidden.
That's
I'd have to
it.
explain myself.
So I would use a phrase that Chris has been using for the last year or so that I think sums all this up. We've talked about this for years, but this phrase is fantastic. You need to give someone else the keys to you.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. Somebody else has got to be able to, at any given point, look you in the eye, stick that key in, open that up and go, let's take a look, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're going to be honest.
And don't react.
Right.
So when that happens, defensiveness. Well, here's. I love you. I love you. Christians are not great at this. Someone I was accused of. No, wait a minute. If you give the keys away to somebody, at some point they're going to ask you an accountability question, and you're going to not react.
Yeah.
And then you're going to continue walking. And then if there's trust that's been violated, you're going to earn trust back. You're not going to cancel and run and go to some other. I've heard all sorts of absolute hogwash
Yeah.
Well, we're having trouble in our marriage, so the Lord is hiding us at another church. What in the cuss does that mean?
Yeah.
You're not brave enough to walk in and let somebody walk alongside you and come over I'm not judging you.
Like
but
that is discipleship.
That is discipleship. That
Yeah.
is the process of bumping into something that doesn't jive and then iron sharpening iron.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're the perfect church, and I'm not saying once you come to this church, you can never leave. I am saying it is a really bad idea how quickly and frequently people jump around trying to live the answer to Michael's question. I want to live a life of integrity, and I want to live a life of transparency, however he phrased his
Accountability.
question. Accountability. It is next to impossible if you church hop.
Yeah. Yeah, I was speaking on that. Like, well, you're one of the people that has, like, that I talk to, right, that knows everything. And there was, I think that's an important piece. There's been too many people, when they were formulating the atomic bomb, they had a bunch of different, sectors of people that knew all of the information about certain things. So nobody could be really put together. And I know that there's some people sitting in my office that are like, oh, yeah, like, no one knows everything, but I just have people to cover different areas of my life,
dangerous.
right?
Yep.
And it's like, no. At least one person needs to know everything.
That's good.
Like all of it, so that you're not, kind of shoving things.
Right.
Because if you can hide it from one person, keep it like kind of lowers that accountability. But there should be someone who knows every part of your life who can look at. And also, I think from what I hear you guys saying too, is that based off of the way you live your life, everyone can pretty much know everything about you just by looking. You're the same everywhere you go. Everything is open and out on display. That's honestly an easier way rather than, I have all the secrets that one person knows. Like, just don't have any secrets. Like, there's just no.
Yeah.
You're as sick as your secrets.
Yeah, right.
That's not a get out of jail free card to go, I am how I am and I'm never going to change.
True.
Yeah.
That's
Very
not
much so.
that's not a blunt instrument to go, well, I can be whatever. The Lord's still working on me. I'm not the pastor, the person, the father, the leader I'll be in 10 years. Thank God
Yeah.
that I will change. Thank God that I serve a God who's faithful to continue the process of sanctification and rubbing the rough edges off of me.
Yeah.
But it's super helpful to not try to fake a facade.
Right.
So what I need to recognize is, people treat rawness as I didn't give any thought. It's raw, so I didn't think or edit myself. I just was my raw self, and you people have to deal with it. That's foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, because I need to recognize that it's not just my reputation that I carry, but his. And so I need to edit myself in the sense that I don't need to just go, well, I'm who I am and I'm not going to change. I am by nature very driven. I am by nature very task-oriented. So I'm well within my right. If we're just supposed to accept people as they are, I'm well within my right to go to Harris Teeter and treat everyone like, a stepping stone to get. I just came to get some bread and some eggs, get out of my way, ring me up quickly, move. Like I'm.
Yeah.
If society's right, bro, I'm checked out. I'm checked out hot. I am who I am.
Yeah.
Deal with me.
Yep.
All right. Well, finishing off the personal section, this is officially Jeffrey Christensen. He says, "Hey guys, I'm Jeffrey. I need some help. I'm weighing the options on a new nasal spray for better breathing. Any thoughts? I'm totally open to y'all's suggestions."
Lord Vader. He needs another nasal spray.
I'll tell you what. If there's something out there, yeah.
Do you
I'm open.
actually use a nasal spray?
Occasionally.
Okay.
Yeah. Not.
Are you in the
not all the
market
time.
for a new one?
Well, if you've got a suggestion, I mean,
Hey, we could take a club to that. We could break that. We could break that little Roman thing you got going on in your face and just see if the
I'll tell you what. It's been there a long, long, long time. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going anywhere.
fused
All
in its
right.
places.
Well,
We've got a
yeah.
troll out there, and
We
and
do.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
We welcome more
It's
trolls.
not you, right?
It is not me.
Okay.
I promise you.
Because that would be the weirdest thing of all.
That
No,
would
no,
be
no, it's-
really strange.
it's not me.
Yeah.
Is it you?
No.
Okay.
Why would someone who rarely prepares for this podcast take the time to create an account to troll this podcast?
Well, that's the very reason it would be you.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No,
let's
it's
move
not.
in.
All right.
This is I'm really excited for this section. This is the Bible theology section of things. We
All
have
right. Well, see you guys.
we knew that's go ahead and
We
edit
knew you'd
this.
check out.
I'm gonna leave so Jeff can
right.
get to his ribbons.
Where's John?
I want to hear from Chris.
Where's John?
Stop.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Sunny D5-14.
Hmm.
Manna Mailbag submission. This is concerning Acts 26. They posted this in the middle of our Acts
man.
series. But it says in verses 22 and 23 and verse 27, you guys really don't need your Bibles for this one, for that
I was
passage.
just
but,
moving mine.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
can
though.
read it.
Paul discusses the law and the prophets as the foundation of what Jesus came to accomplish. What are some ideal pericopes? Note that Pastor Chris added this word to my vocabulary.
Pericope.
So what are some ideal pericopes
Down pericope.
to study and keep in mind that prophesied about Jesus. The more, the better.
Oh
Thanks.
man.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think we can get into like
Name all of them.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
No.
over
Again,
300
episodes.
prophecies.
I'll list
Yeah,
you
exactly.
I'll list you my current favorite, and
Yeah.
that is Isaiah 8, 9, and 10,
Good.
leading into 11.
There you go.
I was going to go Isaiah 9 as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
big time. But
They
it's
can-
because of the context into which that's placed.
Yeah.
So I think especially for our time, this was not written to us. This was not written with us in mind. But I think Isaiah 8, 9, and 10, leading into 11, really do speak beautifully to Jesus in the midst of
Yeah.
the powers,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Absolutely.
I think about Genesis 3:15.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
very first one in Scripture.
It's on my list as well.
And then Isaiah 52, the suffering servant.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's there too.
Yeah, and I I asked my dad one time, if you could only have 5 chapters of the Bible, which would you have? And he said Genesis 1 through 5, because you have the fullness of basically the entirety of the tension that Jesus comes to resolve
Right.
is all set up right
Yeah,
there.
the foundation for the entire meta narrative of Scripture is there.
Yes, is there.
Yeah. In fact, everything you guys mentioned is on my list.
Is what I like to do every
day. Every day. I would add to that. I mean, Genesis 3:15 is the big one, but I would add to that Psalm 16, 9 and 10.
There you go.
Okay.
David says, "Therefore my heart is glad, and my soul or my glory rejoices. My flesh also dwells securely.
That's right.
Because you have not abandoned my soul to the grave, nor allowed your
There was
Holy
an
One
amazing metal
to
band
see,
who
to see decay.
wrote a song about
Indeed,
that.
yeah, amazing. Yeah, and so
Legendary, one might say.
might they?
They might.
So David is, whether he even knows it or not, David's prophesying about Jesus there, right?
Yeah.
Because you do not abandon my soul to the grave, nor allow your Holy One to see decay. He can't be talking about himself.
Right.
What's he talking about?
Yeah.
So New Testament scholars have reflected back on that. The New Testament reflects back on that and says, hey, this is actually about Jesus.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would add that. There's a lot of others we could go into.
Yeah, I was in my small group a few weeks ago. There's a couple of guys in there who are kind of new to reading their Bible. It's the first time they're reading through it. And one guy said, he's like, as I'm reading the Old Testament, it feels like a lot of things are just kind of pointing towards Jesus. And I was like, yeah,
Aha.
you're getting it. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
If you want a fun time, I did this today because Nick picked a Bible reading plan that was basically like one verse a day. So it's just the most shallow
He smiles
most
into the
shallow
camera.
reading plan of all time.
Yeah.
If you want to take Genesis 15 and then read Genesis 15 laid over Romans chapter 4, where Paul talks about Abraham justified by faith.
Yeah.
And so it's into the midst of that. He's going to place Jesus then coming into 5, and then for me the freedom avenue of Romans 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful lead in, ramp in time to the rest of the book of Romans.
Sweet.
I'll also recommend a book. It's called The Unfolding Mystery by Edmund Clowney. And it's all about seeing Christ in the Old Testament. And he was a scholar at Westminster Theological Seminary. Great scholar, great book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'd also like to recommend a book. It's a coloring book.
Horton Hears a Who
Yep.
by Dr. Zeus.
Dr.
Children's
Zeus, is that your
bedtime
name?
storybook.
Yeah, that's good. Very good, Nick. Thank you.
Well
We'll
done.
put that in the description.
I love it.
as well. Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, now we're going into the Gurkha Puffer doubleheader. All
Okay.
right. We all
Oh,
know
Gurkha Puffer. We've heard from him.
We
Yeah,
have.
That's our friend Drew.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Captain
Hey,
Mustache
Drew.
himself. All right. So he says, how should we think of the Mosaic Law? I've been hearing people more and more often talk about the laws of the Old Covenant as being silly and disregarded entirely. But even though we're no longer bound to them, they did all come from God himself. What's the proper role they should play in our lives? It just makes me a little uncomfortable how they've been spoken about sometimes. I imagine the law should still be treated with a certain level of reverence. Thoughts? Thank you.
Very good.
Very polite, Drew.
Gentlemen.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I mean, Gurkha Puffer.
I want you guys to go
Shut
first.
up, Jeff.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I want you guys to go first. Seriously, I really do.
You're chomping at the bit. Just go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
All right, go for it, Jeff.
So what I was thinking.
Okay.
Oh, you made him hurt.
Wow. Okay, so there's two different concepts here. Historically, if you look at how Protestantism, really kind of starting with John Calvin, has dealt with the issue, you want to look at Old Testament law as there's a threefold division and there's also a threefold use. So the threefold division essentially says the law should be understood in three ways: the moral law, the civil law, and the ceremonial law.
Yeah.
Okay. So traditionally, Protestantism has seen the moral law as very much still being applicable to us today. Because this is completely built on the character of God and the character that God expects from his people.
Yeah.
This is universal. It transcends it transcends covenants, right? The civil law, and that would be the laws that Israel were commanded to live with socially, right?
Yeah.
How they ordered society. The civil law, in a sense, still applies. It may not apply exactly because, like, it talks about building parapets around your roof and stuff, right? And like nobody's going to do that anymore, but the idea still applies.
I did at my house.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thanks. So the idea still applies in the sense that you're going to make sure that your property is a safe place to be. You're responsible for your neighbor's safety. Like that's the spirit behind it, and that absolutely still applies. So the specific commandment or law itself might not, but the spirit behind it absolutely does.
That's good.
Ceremonial law are the ritual practices that Israel did that don't apply to us today. We're not offering blood sacrifices or food sacrifices or whatever. We're not doing those things.
Thank God.
We're not keeping kosher. We're not commanded to keep kosher, at least anymore. All those kinds of things. Like you can eat pork, you can wear polyester and cotton blends, but
You can get tattoos.
you can get tattoos.
That's in the same passage.
But and we've talked about that before.
Thanks,
but still there is a spirit behind the ceremonial law that also still applies, because a lot of the ceremonial law was about your heart before God and about your separateness unto God. So that's still applicable, even though the practices themselves are no longer binding. So that's the threefold division of the law. Threefold use. If somebody else wants to speak to that,
keep
I don't
going.
need to take this all up.
No, get to that, because I'm going to add a layer from Romans 8 that I think is going to spin right over top.
Absolutely part of threefold
right.
use.
Yeah.
So again, Calvin said that the law should be understood as a mirror, as a restrainer, and as a schoolmaster. What he meant was that it's a mirror. It shows us how sinful we are. That what Chris is going to bring up, Romans 8, that's a huge part of that.
Massive part of it.
Big time. Galatians 3 as well speaks to that. The restrainer, in other words, it's the idea that it should restrain our consciences. The law is directed at the lawless to tell them, or to say, hey, cut it out, right?
It's written on
I'm
our
not going to
hearts.
hit you, Bryson, I promise.
No, you're just getting closer and closer.
And so you can find 1 Timothy 1 it talks about that. And then it's a schoolmaster. It teaches us the way that we should go, what we should learn. And you can find, Romans 3 and other,
The big point I want to throw in here is from Romans 8, and it's a really, really important point. It's verse 3. For God has done what the law, weakened by the flesh, could not do.
Yes.
Pause.
Yep.
The way that people tend to think of the law is the law was bad, and we were couched up under the law of sin and death as if the law was sin and death itself. That's not what's happening in Romans 8. Romans 8 is saying we in our flesh could not achieve perfection because of this law. We are the problem. So what God did was sent a fulfillment, his son, of the law, so that we might have access to essentially all the types. Type here, a theological word that basically means like a mirror or representation of what the law came to demonstrate prior to Jesus coming. So in terms of the approach and the lens, and that's perfect what Jeff said there. At the same time, I think some of the approach that people need to take when thinking of the law is we look at the law as setting up for us unachievable perfection that Jesus came to offer, because the law itself was not the weak part. The law itself was not the problem. It said, for God has done what the law weakened by the flesh. So what is the problem? This gets to N.T. Wright's evil and the justice of God. The problem is not that evil came into God's perfect design because of a flaw in the system, as if the law had a flaw, So Jesus made this law with flaws, and then all of a sudden, Easter egg, it's Jesus come to save us from our sins. Oh, no. The problem is that this is why I'm such an anti-dualist. You always hear me going on and on about dualism. It's not as if there was this evil law and that Jesus came to defeat the evil law and triumph. No. Jesus came to defeat evil, which is sourced by me and my sin nature.
Right.
What weakened the provision of the law was me. So I do agree with Gurkha Puffer's. I'm reticent and wary for people to treat the law as if, well, that's the Old Testament, let's rip it out.
Yep.
You don't have a New Testament if you don't have an Old Testament.
Yep.
Right.
You can't have Romans if you don't have the Torah. You can't have Paul if you don't have the Torah.
Yeah.
So we need to be careful how we treat it, but we don't treat it as like this old archaic thing that's just sort of off to the side. It is important to study and to understand. It's important to study and to read this. We'll get to this in the next question, I think, as well. This is not a disjointed collection of
That's good.
pericopes.
Yeah.
This is a thing read completely. Again, if you listen to what my dad said, if you read Genesis 1 through 5 and go, we see the tension, and then you read Genesis 6 all the way to Revelation 23?
22.
Revelation 23.
Wow.
Yeah. It's still going on.
Okay.
If you read all the way to Revelation 22, it is the relief of the tension through Jesus. That's the whole story. If you read that with that as your guiding light, then you're not looking at a law dispensation, quote unquote. You're looking at the law as part of the revealing of God's goodness in sending His Son.
There it is.
It is a step in the process of redemption.
Yeah. It's part of the overall narrative.
It's
that
not
points to Jesus.
It's not bad. It's not death.
Right.
I source the death. I source the evil.
Right.
Wait a minute, Chris, you're a Christian. No, but see, the sin, the wickedness that still lives in me continues to feed the evil in the world system. And so whether it's the law, whether it's Jesus, whatever, it's my submission to Jesus and my recognition that God's ways and His commands are perfect and always have been and always will be. I can't measure up. Jesus is the propitiation. Now we have the fulfillment on the other side.
Yeah, Paul says the law reveals my sinfulness to me, and then I condemn myself by continuing to act on what I am now entirely conscious of.
Yeah. I would tell you to read the law with grateful reverence.
That's good.
Grateful reverence, heart open, and love you. Follow along with Paul. Why we preach small groups so much. Follow along with somebody who's a little further than you.
Yeah, it's good.
And don't piecemeal and throw stuff out as if it's like, I had a friend tell me one time, be careful when you're renovating or when you're understanding something or building something. Be careful you don't knock down a load-bearing wall or cut a live wire.
Yeah.
Because if you cut one that's live, it'll spark.
Gurkha Puffer. Drew.
There you go.
Let me recommend a book, 5 Views
Does Drew have an estate?
He might.
Oh, that'd be great.
But it doesn't sound like Drew smokes the Drew estate. He smokes the Gurkha. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Check out 5 Views of Law and 5 Views on Law and Gospel. You'll enjoy that. It's going to take you right into the heart of the different Protestant views of how do we handle the tension between Old Testament law and New Testament gospel. Is there a division? You should read it.
Remember, we're reading a whole book, not pieces of a book, and we are part of a whole body, not individuals who are more important than the other. So you got to recognize that different personalities are gonna attach to different ways that the law is thought of.
Yeah.
So the dress right dress, the creative people are going to go, the law is ridiculous and just hems me in a box. The box, administrative people are going to go, I love the law. It gives me clarity because then I just get up and do this list. And the power of the body and the power of the book is that together we represent the fullness of the bride of Christ.
Yeah.
And so we need to, without disparaging others, that's what Paul talks about. If for the sake of my brother who may be a little bit weaker, I'm not going to this or I'm not going to that.
Right.
On the tattoo point, I went to Jerusalem with some Jewish brothers and sisters who did not feel comfortable around what I had done with my body. So in July, I covered myself the entire time.
Despite the heat.
And baked and roasted. You don't need to dip me in bronze. I don't need a plaque made for me. But I led with what might cause my brother or sister to stumble.
That's good.
And I just didn't.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And then when I left them, I went to Razuk on the wall, and I 100% got a tattoo.
You got
of an
another
old Razuk. Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, that's a really hopeful. I've heard this a lot. Drew is also in my small group. The cool thing about him is he will read that book.
I bet he will.
He really, he's very much.
No doubt. Will he do this while he reads it?
Probably.
In my mind,
he should.
In my
Mustache
mind, I
Drew.
imagine
He probably
mustache
will.
Drew.
He probably will be smoking a pipe.
Does he
while reading it.
curl
Yes,
the
yeah.
ends?
Yeah.
Maybe?
No, it
man,
doesn't.
Drew.
It doesn't
All
quite
right,
curl.
let's go to
Drew
his.
Testament.
Let's go to the second question. It's very interesting. He says it's always been unsettling trying to comprehend the idea of God demanding the slaughter of cities and nations,
Yes.
of Jews and Gentiles.
All right.
I understand the judgment of
My
people
genocide-loving Jesus.
who reject God and his ways.
Calm down.
But what's difficult is that the slaughter of infants and the ripping open of pregnant women is often specifically mentioned. It seems...
Pause. I do think 99.9% of the time that is... No, I just... But
Okay.
pause, because the ripping open of the pregnant women happened to the Israelites. There's like one vague reference where a bad Israelite king did bad things.
Yes.
But otherwise, you don't find any other reference to Israelites being commanded to do that.
King Menahem.
That happened to them.
Second Kings. Yeah.
That happened to them.
2 Kings
So
15.
just to be clear, the ripping open of pregnant women was happening to the Jews by the Amalekites
Right.
or the Assyrians.
And the only reference to an Israelite king
Assyrians.
doing it is actually mentioned to his condemnation. 2
Correct.
Kings 15 is saying that because
Correct.
it's showing how far Israel's fallen.
right.
It's not endorsing
They were good. They
at
were
all
bad. They were
what he
bad.
did.
They were
Yeah.
bad. They were bad.
They were worse. Yeah.
They were taken away.
Anyways.
Yeah, so the basis of his
My
question,
bad.
he would go on to say, it sounds like he is getting clarification on that specifically, where he doesn't really have a whole lot of issue about the genocide section of things. So
Josh Butler is a great source to read.
Yes, he is.
I read him. That's kind of where I got this sort of idea. But I'm going to go to one of the more college white girl objections to the Bible.
Okay, I
What does
like
that
it. No, I
mean?
know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
I know exactly what you mean.
Every college white girl that wants to argue is going to open to 1 Samuel
Yes.
15 and
Oh,
say,
my goodness.
how could the Lord say, you shall smite all the Amalekites? All right, so there's some really important nuance
Yes.
to this smiting of Amalekite cities. Number one, do you know who the Amalekites are? Like, we always run around and go, wait, Bryson, you disagree with me? You think that Papa John's is pizza? You're a Nazi. So we go from like zero to Nazi as our way
I
of
would say
bullying.
that about Domino's, but continue.
Fine, whatever. But we do that to push people into the corner. The Amalekites really were ancient Nazis. I mean, they really did a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
The Amalekites are the people that fell upon God's children as they wandered, basically just brand new released slaves in the desert with women and children, and
Defenseless.
attacked them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Amalekites, their goal is to eradicate God's people from under the sun. They want to wipe every Jew off the face of the earth.
Are you saying that not good vibes is what I'm understanding?
Definitely not good vibes.
Okay, got
Now,
it.
thing number two, God tells them to wipe out the cities. Now, cities in this point of history are typically not places. Not typically, they are not places where women and children live.
Yeah.
The fortifications. So you remember when the children of Israel went across the desert or went across to the promised land, but they left them in fortified cities? Why would it specify they left them in fortified cities? Well, because that's not where the women and children lived. They left them in the fortified cities because the men went across to attack in the promised land.
Yeah.
Fortified cities in the ancient world were where troops lived.
That's right.
So God's command to eradicate the cities of the Amalekites is the equivalent of saying, and now I'm going to quote Josh Butler, he's not saying eradicate New York City.
Right.
He's saying eradicate the Pentagon.
Yep.
So he's saying, I want you to attack the soldiers and I want you to wipe out all of them.
Right.
And so Saul keeps alive the king as, haha, look what I did. I triumphed. I won. And Samuel's going, no. He told you to kill all those soldiers, every single one of them who were fighting against you. He said to eradicate them and wipe them out. Now, we can get into just warfare, not just warfare, what
Yep.
should or shouldn't happen with prisoner of wars. We can get down that rabbit
Battle
trail.
language.
But the trouble is that it's people avoid it weirdly because they think it's like some haha gotcha passage. And
Yes.
I don't mean any disrespect to white girls in college. White girls in college are awesome. It's just a kind of, I haven't looked into it a lot. I haven't thought a lot about it. So let me cherry pick something that I think will get people off. And it's just kind of a cheap
Yeah.
attack passage, because what we don't find, that's what I said a minute ago. You can't read this as if it's like these little sections that all stand on their own. So it's part of the narrative of God saying, no. In the promised land, in my kingdom, you will be pure and wholly devoted unto me. So the command is all a part of God's purification of being holy unto me. And so as a part of be holy unto me, he says, oh yeah, by the way, all those people that want to kill you and smite you and will follow you to the grave, wipe them out.
Also, I think it's helpful for us to scale back and understand that when we interpret Scripture, we need to interpret the whole of Scripture. Meaning, you can't just take out like a a single thing and say, well, this is the character of God. Who do we know God to be for a second? Like, we know that God is perfectly holy. He's perfectly
Wright
just.
Says, remember not to suspend one's Christology when determining one's all the other ologies. God is good and only and always does what is right. If you suspend
Yes.
Christology, you got a problem.
That's right. So we need to remind ourselves that God is good and he only and always does what is good. Also, we need to remind ourselves that before we jump to conclusions, and a lot of these things that we're explaining are actually misunderstandings of Scripture, but before we jump to conclusions, we need to admit right away that God is holy, perfectly just, and maybe we should be slow to think that we're the ones that have a higher morality than he.
Yeah.
I looked up one of the passages. I'm not sure which passage specifically he's referencing, but this could be one of them. Hosea chapter 13, right at the end, verse 16 says, Samaria shall bear her guilt because she has rebelled against her God. They shall fall by the sword, their little ones shall be dashed to pieces, and their pregnant women ripped open. Verse 1 of chapter 14, Return, O Israel, to the Lord your God, for you have stumbled because of your iniquity. Here's the thing. This is not a prescription of judgment. This is a description of what their enemies are going to do to them because they've aligned themselves not with God,
Right.
but with something or someone else.
Yeah. With the gods of their enemies.
That's
We,
right.
we have to remember the order in which this all happened, right?
Yeah.
God said, we fell. Jesus comes and redeems. Like, let's not forget, in the midst of all this whole planning and ordering, whatever, the difficulty that you're going to end up with is if you're not careful, and I cannot more highly recommend Evil and Justice of God by N.T. Wright.
Yes.
If you're not careful, what you're going to end up with is people start from the wrong assumption that it's God who created evil as sort of this thing he was going to champion against. There again, I'm not a dualist. There's not two competing forces, good versus evil. God's going to finally get the upper hand and defeat evil that he created just so he wouldn't be bored.
Yeah.
We are the ones who fell.
Right.
So in this whole narrative, looking at all the stuff that's happening, how did sin get into God's perfect creation? Humans.
That's right. So, and that's where I'm saying, like, before we jump to conclusions about the character of God, understand he's not the one with the skewed perspective. We're the ones with the fallen perspective.
It's really tough to listen to people try to lay blame, like take this and lay this blame on God as if God is the problem, while we, wear clothing produced in China made by slaves.
Yep.
It's just kind of a weird sort of like, again, people's morality dictates their theology. I just said that a while ago. So you got morality that's this way. I'd like to live this way. So how can I either make God go away or make him fit into the camp of my broken morality that'll help me reconcile the world?
If I can here, I'll keep this brief, but there's three Protestant scholarly approaches or writings. They overlap a lot. Chris mentioned Joshua Ryan Butler.
I didn't know his middle name was Ryan.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
JRB.
I don't agree with everything he's written. You shouldn't either, but he has a great book called The Skeletons in God's Closet.
Oh, yeah.
Great book.
And you should. He's going to talk about all of this in that book. There's Walton and Walton. John Walton and J. Harvey Walton wrote on this as well. And then Paul Copan has written on these things. Their ideas overlap a lot. The idea of military outposts versus, cities, the big one.
Battle language.
One other thing Joshua Ryan Butler is going to bring up, and it's an interesting point. It's compelling. Is it absolutely correct? I don't know, but it's a compelling point, is that the idea of women and children, like kill everything, including women, children, livestock, that it is essentially ancient Near Eastern stock language for total victory.
Exactly.
I've read this.
That the idea that
They're going to incorporate them in and marry them into their society and basically make them.
Well, maybe. Yes, there is certainly some of that.
In ancient times, that's what they would have done.
But
That's what we had with Babylon.
If you read Babylonian literature, if you read other ancient Near Eastern peoples and the literature of their antiquity, you're going to find this same language being used when you can historically trace that they absolutely did not wipe out every man, woman, and
hyperbole.
child. It is hyperbole.
Yeah. That's battle language.
The idea is the same thing as when we go, our football team played their football team and we mopped the floor with them.
Right.
Well, no, you didn't.
Did you literally
But
mop
we-
the floor?
Right.
No, you didn't.
Right. We annihilated them. Oh, really? Like, do they actually
Yeah.
cease to exist? No. It's stock language.
It's the explanation. If you ever wonder the gap in Daniel, it's the explanation as to how Nebuchadnezzar can be Belshazzar's father.
yeah.
Because that very thing
Yeah.
is likely what happened. Nabonidus is actually the one who's in charge, but he's the one who anyway. It's that sort of the thing that he's talking about right there has other places in Scripture that back up the idea that this could be what's going on because it's absolutely what happens.
Yeah.
I know we could sit in this one. There's two more. There's another section that I'd like to touch on.
Okay.
So again, if
Yeah.
you like what we're talking about here,
I have papers on all of this point. If anybody wants them, I'm willing to send them. Just contact. And then there's a Bible. Yeah.
I have a Bible.
There's a Bible.
There's
Yes.
the thoughts
But
of
we
Jeffrey
can-
Christensen
Yeah.
that he's willing to put on eBay.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's move into the.
Nick has none, so somebody's got to make up for it.
All right. Hold it together. We're getting close to the end. You guys can be on your best behavior for just a
bud.
few minutes longer. Okay. We're going to the family section of things. This is a great.
I do love that you sit over there in your throne of lies, as if
Indeed.
throughout the rest of the week, you, Bryson, are not part of the staff cut up culture.
Yes,
Like as if you're
right.
sitting here
wow.
straight
The
laced,
Look at him wearing
nonsense
the
and
white shirt.
shenanigans.
trying to keep us on track.
I've never done something to nobody.
Like you don't
I'm
troll
harmless.
people all week. Stop
We're
it.
over here
Right.
wearing black. He's wearing white to distinguish himself.
Purity is
Angelic.
a powerful thing, you know.
Okay.
All
Angelic.
right, this is I'm
on.
so excited about this question. This is from Mallory V994. She says, what is the best way to honor your parents as an adult when you have a complicated relationship with them? A little bit of backstory. She has a full backstory, but I'm just going to give you the spark notes. There's a history of alcohol, manipulation, name-calling, infidelity. Just sounds like a very... Some of the stuff she shares, it's a very tumultuous family history. So now she's wondering how she's supposed to honor her parents after all of this stuff has happened, and now she's an adult.
I think Chris has a really good general way of addressing
I
that.
think honor. I think honor lets people. I feel deeply for that, and I do not. I cannot identify with that personally because that's not my story. Being a pastor's kid who's only ever been a pastor, this is not an unfamiliar tale, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so I think that honoring the position of your parents, number one, you can honor that they gave you life. It does not mean you give them the place in your life that they previously held, but you can release the unforgiveness. I think that's the key, really, is to release the unforgiveness and the bitterness to God in a way where you can, from a distance. I would never suggest in that sort of situation that you put yourself back in harm's way.
Yeah.
Not what I'm saying. But you can honor the fact that they gave you life, and you can honor the fact that they were a part of what God used to bring you to where you are today, and you can release bitterness and unforgiveness to God, and you don't put yourself back in that place or that spot. And if you have kids, you don't put them in the place where, you can...
That environment.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can. This really the key is we don't bring the poison or the sin into the camp, drink it, let our kids drink it, and then expect that they're going to die.
Right.
Yep.
We have to be the ones that model, not that lets them off the hook as if what they did to me was right or what they did to me means that I need to put myself back in the place to get hurt again. No, but you don't need to be the one drinking the poison. So that means that feeling on the inside when their name is mentioned or when your kids talk about grandma or grandpa, it's the releasing of the, I just ate bad Chinese food at 3 a.m. and I woke up thinking I ate a live raccoon.
Yeah.
It's releasing that. It's releasing that to God, and it's walking the path of forgiveness.
Yeah.
I use things like path of forgiveness and freer, not free, because freedom is not a finish line and forgiveness is not a finish line either.
That's good.
Walking the path of forgiveness, there are people in my life, it's taken decades because what they did to me was not right. And what they did to me brought pain and scarring, and they were in this local church, so I know a thing or two about church hurt. But it's taken decades to walk to the place of walking the path of forgiveness where I can release that and then continue to make the decision to release that, because if I just leave it alone, it'll start to creep back in the camp.
Yeah. And I would say that, like, you cannot actively allow the influence of toxic
Correct.
relationships. And I know toxic is an overused word, but that is very true. Like, you cannot allow that. But we are called to be agents of reconciliation. And I'll say this as somebody who has experienced some of this kind of discomfort, not this level, not the same details, but the reality is this, that we're also, we're called to be open as Christians, followers of Jesus. We're called to be open to reconciliation whenever it's possible.
Right.
And so our hearts should always, well, let me put it this way. I'm going to use Chris's language for this. We should be on a path of our hearts being open toward reconciliation at every point.
Reconciliation sometimes leads to restoration.
That's right.
But they are not two words that mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, step 1. Reconciliation, step 2. Restoration, maybe never fully.
Yeah.
Maybe in pieces.
Yeah.
With that same vein, did you have something you want to add?
Yeah, I did. So I think that sometimes we confuse the commandment to forgive with a commandment to trust. And that's just not in the Bible.
Or the command, like now they have to be back part of my life again.
Right. So
Right.
do we need to forgive? Do we need to release the bitterness that we have? Yes, that's part of the commandment. We're not commanded to trust. So is it possible that person who hurt you, for you to release them, you don't hold bitterness against them, you've forgiven them, but I'm not going to put myself in that vicinity or in that position anymore. I don't trust that person. I don't need my kids to be in that position. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
That's
What Paul's talking about in 1 Corinthians, I think it's chapter 5, where he talks about expelling the immoral.
Yeah.
What he's talking about here is we jump way too quick to cancellation, as if what we do is, it is 1 Corinthians 5. We jump way too quickly to canceling folk. We don't forgive them. We just get rid of them because 1 Corinthians 5 says to expel the immoral. So I've got someone who offended me, they've done wrong, so I just expel them, I can cancel them and never let them back in the camp. The thing about this is it does not take forgiveness and move forgiveness off to a different camp. Forgiveness is the way in. But the thing that separation in space does is it removes them from the joy of the collective. So what it does is it puts them in the punishment, the sin bin of, I forgive you, but I can't walk with you in this place because then you feel as if I'm just saying everything you're doing is okay. Yeah. I have a real example from my life of a very dear, dear friend. He's in heaven now. He walked a very difficult path, brokenness of all different kinds. And he had a pattern of addiction in his life. He was a drug addict. I loved him dearly. He loved me. At the same time, it reached a point in our relationship where I could not continue to fellowship with him as if nothing was wrong.
Right.
And it's not that I didn't love him. And it's not that he wasn't the first. I was his first phone call cuffed to a bail bondsman. I mean, we were deep in each other's lives. I loved him dearly. But if I was to walk this command out, we reached a place where it was like, bro, I can't.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is you are under the shelter of commune with me in a way where this isn't good. He
Sin
knew my
is
kids.
getting in the way.
He knew my kids.
Yeah.
He was close with my kids. It was like I can't. My kids can't grow up thinking that this is okay.
Yeah.
And so we can't live in each other's spheres because you keep living this way. So until this changes, until you break, until there's I don't know, hit rock bottom, I'm going to love you. I'm going to answer your phone call. I'm going to love you. I'm going to be in your camp and on your side, and I can't fellowship with you.
Yeah.
And so did I forgive him? Sure. Did I release him? Yeah. He went to heaven. In terms of our closeness of our relationship, we were unrestored.
Yeah.
But I'll meet him in eternity.
To bring it back around to the question, though, honor is more about you than it is about them.
That's fantastic.
So is it possible for you to have forgiven that person, still separating from them, and yet honor them?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I'm not going to disparage them with my words. I'm not going to, speak ill of them and gossip about them behind their back. I'm going to honor. The Bible says, honor your mother and your father, right? So I'm going to honor them in ways that I can honor them.
Yeah.
And boundaries are like boundaries and also saying no to a relationship. It's easy to think that that's mean because that's how people act. Like you're doing this thing to me. The reality is it's not mean. It's the most loving thing you can do because it allows someone to experience the reproofs of the Lord in their life, which are ultimately what can restore them when they go, wow, God is showing me that I've been a rockhead and it's time to fix some stuff.
Yes without no is worthless.
Yeah.
Your no empowers your yes.
Yeah. Well, there is one question that we're going to leave on the cutting room floor just because we're running out of time. So we just have one final question. This is from Gurkha Puffer, and Jeff, it's actually directly towards you.
Oh, wow. Good.
Okay. Why is Pastor Jeff so interested in circumcision?
That is a fascinating question, actually. That's really good.
If you watch the show enough, you know where this is coming from.
Can I actually answer? Can I answer that really quickly?
Yes,
I will
you
try
can.
to make this quickly. Drew, just to let you know, this actually started with Pastor Chris. It was his obsession.
All right.
But like any good middle school boy, he can't help but giggle every time the word circumcision is mentioned. So he could not effectively do the research on his own.
Yeah.
And he came to me saying, Jeff, with your superior knowledge and research skills, would you take this on for me? Because I am but a middle school aged boy who cannot help but laugh myself silly every time I encounter this word. And I said, sure, I'll take that on for you.
Wow.
I don't know what else to do.
What a good friend you are.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's what.
You're the hero in that story.
I
Drew,
feel like
Drew,
it.
you
I
seem
feel like that.
perceptive.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was true. I just said that you're the hero in that story.
All right. Well, this is.
No, it feels good. That feels right.
This is the end of our AMA episode, but it's not the end of the Manna Mailbag. In fact, you can continue to post questions, and we will, at the end of every episode, we will choose a question to be answered. So if you enjoyed this, you enjoyed the format of this, then we'd love to get more questions. You
Yeah.
can post them in the comment section down below on this video and going forward. And for further videos, you can continue to post these questions. In fact, speaking of future episodes, we have a special one coming up next week.
Yeah.
Nick, can you talk about that? Since
We
you're
are going to have a whole Christmas episode. I can't wait for it.
Gosh.
Um,
Is James Lewis going to be on?
That was my next question. Yes.
So here's the thing. We have the Queen of Christmas who's going to be on the episode, and that is the one and only Ray Fletcher.
Dear God.
If we could pair her with D. Bowie,
Oh, my
No.
goodness.
I think
I can't be anywhere near that Christmas storm.
Man,
Wow.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
Flights got delayed. If the two of them sat together and talked about Christmas, Atlanta would delay its flights.
yeah,
there'd be a
there's
tremor.
a tectonic shift.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
got
The
it.
Earth's gravitational pull.
So we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to have a Christmas game, but also we're going to talk about the coming of Jesus, Advent. It's his arrival. So it'll be good. Tune in next week.
Yep. Next week, you'll go back to having a slightly inferior host who's your normal one we settle with. I'll go back behind the camera.
Wow.
They let me know every now and then because I'm the well-behaved one, and I guess we branded this as the unbehaved.
Well-behaved.
Yeah.
Good.
Very well-behaved. Never made any mistake ever. Never poked fun at any of you guys.
Let's move on.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this week's episode. If you live in the Fayetteville Fort Bragg area, we'd love to invite you to our in-person services. You can check out that on our app or our website where our services are and our service locations are. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun things. If you're on Spotify, we kind of love you. Until next time,
Dang.
It's true.
we love you, Manna Church. Until next time, let's change the world.
Check out our website, manna.church, to find ways you can get connected with our services, small groups, outreaches, and more.